It was slow, controlled, and close enough that I could feel it brush against my cheek. For half a second, I assumed I was still dreaming. The last thing I remembered was the crash, metal screaming, gravity tearing sideways, alarms blaring in a language I barely understood. My transport shuttle had been running relief supplies along the outer Perseus lanes when something huge and wrong had emerged from hyperspace. Then there had been darkness. Now there was warmth. I opened my eyes. The ceiling above me was curved and faintly luminous, patterned with slow-moving lines of blue light like a calm ocean scene from below. This was not my ship. I tried to move, and my muscles protested but obeyed. Whatever I was lying on was soft, layered fabric, far more comfortable than any military bunk. And beside me, lying on the same sleeping platform, was an alien. She was small, barely taller than my shoulder when seated, with smooth lavender skin and delicate ridges along her temples instead of hair. Her eyes were closed, large and iridescent, and her chest rose and fell beneath a simple white garment marked with a silver insignia, a stylized star encircled by a ring. A maid's uniform. My heart slammed so hard I was sure it would wake her. I froze, staring, mind racing through possibilities. Capture. Experimentation. Prisoner exchange. This was not how any of those usually started. She stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, pupils adjusting as they focused on me. When she realized I was awake, she didn't scream. She smiled. "You're safe," she said softly, in perfect Terran standard. "Please do not be alarmed." I sat up so fast the room tilted. "Where am I?" "Aboard the sovereign vessel Aurelius," she replied. "You were recovered unconscious from the wreckage of your craft." I scanned the room. No restraints. No guards. Just elegant furnishings and soft light. Why am I here? And why are you in my bed? She lowered her gaze. Ears, no. Fin-like structures, flushing a darker shade of violet. Because I was instructed to remain with you while you recovered. Humans experience distress when they awaken alone after trauma. That stopped me. "You studied us?" "Yes," she said. "Extensively." I swung my legs off the bed. "Who are you?" She rose gracefully and bowed, hands folded. "I am Lyris, personal attendant of the High Household. Designation, domestic caretaker. You would say maid." I barked a laugh, mostly nerves. An alien warship picks up a random human, tucks him into a luxury suite, and assigns him a maid? Her expression sobered. "You are not random." That was the moment everything changed. She guided me through the ship later. Once medical scans confirmed I was stable. The Aurelius was massive, older than any human vessel I'd ever seen, its corridors humming with quiet power. Crew members of various species moved aside when we passed, some curious, some wary. More than a few stared. "Why does everyone keep looking at me like that?" I muttered. Lyris hesitated. "Because humans are not usually invited aboard vessels of this class." That sounds bad. It is complicated. We stopped at a wide observation window overlooking a swirl of stars. Lyris clasped her hands tighter than before. "Your species," she said carefully, "is classified as a deferred power." I frowned. "Meaning?" "Meaning the Galactic Council believes humanity is too young, too fractured, and too volatile to be given full standing." I snorted. "Sounds about right." She looked at me with something like sadness. "They are wrong." That got my attention. "They underestimate you," she continued. "Your adaptability, your persistence, your capacity for empathy in the face of extinction-level threats." I turned to her. "You talk like you've seen us up close." "I have," she said. My household studies emerging civilizations. When your people fought back against the Carrick's incursions with ships built from mining rigs and courage alone, many of us noticed. I remembered that war. Everyone did. Humanity had nearly been wiped out. So, why keep us at arm's length? I asked. Fear, she said simply. Because when humans are pushed, you do not break. You change the rules. Over the next few days, Lyris visited me often. She brought meals adapted to human biology, asked careful questions about Earth, about families, about why we laughed at bad jokes and grieved for strangers. In return, she spoke of her people, the Veilith, and their rigid social structures. I was grown for service, she admitted one evening, as we sat by the viewport. My role was determined before I could speak. That doesn't bother you? I asked. She tilted her head. It is all I have known. I shook my head. On Earth, we'd call that unfair. She studied me, eyes bright. You call many things unfair, and then you try to fix them. It was during a quiet cycle, what passed for night aboard the ship, that alarms blared. Red light flooded the corridors. The calm hum turned into a roar. Lyris rushed into my quarters, fear clear on her face. We are under attack. By who? The Carricks. My blood went cold. The Carricks were ancient, relentless. The reason half the galaxy still slept with weapons charged. Why here? I asked. Because of you, she said. Before I could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Lyris stumbled, and without thinking, I caught her. She froze. I realized then how fragile she felt, how light, and how human it felt to protect someone smaller, scared, trusting. They know you survived, she said. They know humans adapt. They wish to study you or eliminate you. Then we don't let them, I said. She stared. You are unarmed. So were we the first time, I replied. Where's your command deck? She hesitated only a second before leading me there. The bridge was chaos. Officers shouting, shields flaring under relentless fire. The Veilith commander, tall and regal, turned sharply when he saw me. A human, he snapped. Why is it here? Because he understands the Carricks, Lyris said, voice trembling but firm. And because we are losing. I stepped forward. Your shields are too static. The Carricks' weapons adapt to fixed frequencies. The commander scoffed. You presume much. I presume survival, I shot back. Cycle your shields randomly. Short bursts. Unpredictable patterns. Silence fell. Then another impact rocked the ship. Do it, the commander ordered. The change was immediate. Enemy fire began to glance off, less effective. Now, I continued, adrenaline surging. Your weapons don't target their hull. Target their coordination nodes. They rely on shared targeting data. How do you know this? The commander demanded. Because we lost millions learning it, I said quietly. Minutes stretched like hours. Then, finally, the Carricks' vessels broke formation and fled. The bridge erupted in stunned relief. The commander turned to me slowly. It seems we have misjudged your kind. Afterward, Lyris found me alone again by the viewport. You saved us, she said. We saved each other, I corrected. She hesitated, then said the words that would echo in my mind forever. The Council will not like this, she said. A human demonstrating strategic superiority aboard a sovereign vessel. It will force a reckoning. I looked at her. Is that bad? For some, she said. For others, it is hope. Days later, the commander summoned me. Human, he said, your species stands at a threshold. The galaxy fears what you might become, but it also needs you. I crossed my arms. And what do you want from me? He gestured to Lyris, standing quietly at his side. An emissary. A bridge between what you are and what you could be. I glanced at her. She met my gaze, something unspoken passing between us. On Earth, I said slowly, we don't send maids as emissaries. She smiled faintly. Then, perhaps, I will no longer be a maid. When I finally left the Orleans, it wasn't in chains or secrecy. It was aboard a diplomatic vessel, carrying a message that would ripple across stars. Humanity was no longer to be ignored. And Lyris, no longer just an alien maid, stood beside me, learning what it meant to choose her own path. I had woken up beside an alien maid. I woke up to a galaxy that would never see us the same way again. The transmission from the Orleans reached Earth 3 days later. Every channel, every network, every orbital relay. Human diplomats stood frozen as Veilith representatives bowed before them, formally acknowledging humanity as a sovereign power. Not a probationary species, not a curiosity, an equal. Across the galaxy, ancient civilizations reacted with unease, disbelief, and fear. Because the message wasn't just political, it was historical. Humans adapt under pressure. Humans protect those who stand beside them. Humans do not submit quietly. I stood in the observation bay of our outbound vessel, watching Earth grow larger in the viewport. Blue and green. Fragile and defiant. Lyris joined me, her reflection shimmering against the stars. I've been released from service, she said softly. I turned. Release? Freed, she corrected. By my own choice. I smiled. Welcome to humanity. We're terrible at being owned. She laughed, a sound still new to her, and then grew serious. The Council believes you will become dangerous. Will we? I asked. She met my eyes. Only to those who mistake kindness for weakness. As we entered Earth's orbit, fleets repositioned, not to threaten, but to stand with us. Old enemies paused their advance. Ancient predators recalculated. Because now they knew something they hadn't before. If you hurt a human, we remember. If you threaten our friends, we respond. And if you underestimate us, we change the future. Later, as diplomats argued and historians scrambled for new chapters, Lyris and I sat on a quiet balcony overlooking Earth's night side. Cities glittered like constellations. What will you do now? She asked. I thought about it. About how close humanity had come to extinction. About how close we'd come again, without even knowing it. I think, I said, we help make sure no one ever wakes up alone after a crash again. She reached for my hand. This time, she didn't hesitate. Far beyond Earth, the Carracks withdrew deeper into the void, whispering warnings in their ancient tongue. Do not provoke the small ones. They walk toward monsters. And somewhere in the stars, 1,000 civilizations began to realize the truth. Humanity had not arrived quietly. We had arrived awake.